Welcome back. We now take a trip across the bridge to Superior, where the UWS Yellow Jackets were also in action on the ice tonight, taking on the Gusties from Gustavus Adolphus, and both teams bumping to some black and yellow pre-game to get the vibes going. We jump into the action. First period, Yellow Jackets starting to swarm. Tristan Terrian with the wraparound. He gets stopped, but the loose change is deposited by Reed Stark. His first goal of the year gets the monkey off his back. UWS goes up 1-0. And just 2 minutes later, junior Gavin Rasmussen throws on the net, bounces a Gusties player, and through the wickets of the goaltender in a blink. It's 2-0 Yellow Jackets, but the Gusties would answer. Now on the power play, watch this pass from Jack Sucky right to the tape of freshman Connor Mahoney. He cuts the lead into half, but the Yellow Jackets would erupt for 3 more goals in the second period as they win their 5th straight game by a score of 5-2 over the Gusties.